why did I move to Cornwall? I think it was essentially the idea of adventure. I was obviously making work about nature and natural capital and environment and outdoor life, even though I was in London. And just moving to Cornwall just fulfilled all that, really. There was a seminal point for me, an almost Damascene moment about 25 years ago. And up until that point, I'd been making quite a lot of conceptual work, installation ideas, and a lot of work that was in my head. And I would say that that's my source, is culture, poetry, the corporeal, natural capital. I'm very interested in how real nature is. You know, when you get your hands in the soil and you swim in the sea. So that's 25 years of kind of working with and amongst and in and through nature and the environment. About 5 years ago, I made a decision not to do anything other than purely paint, so that painting or making art becomes your absolute focus. I'm not bringing children up anymore. I'm not having to teach or mentor or anything like that. You just focus. So suddenly, your life and your practice and your studio become one. It conflates. The whole thing conflates. And it's a very different situation compared to just fitting your practice into a timetable. It becomes all-consuming. So from the waking moment to the end of the day, my practice is at the forefront of my head. So I even thought, well, getting into work, that's got to be part of it too. So I ditched the car to some extent and picked up a bicycle and started cycling through nature and then swimming in the sea on the way to work. So that my actual commute takes me through a temporal zone which creates a kind of emotional weather in my head before I even get to the studio. I've listened to curlews, I've seen egrets, I've observed herons flying, I've listened to teal ducks and the Canadian geese chat. I've battled rain, wind, sea spray. So by the time I get to the studio, I'm sort of drenched in elements. So it means I don't have to observe. I don't have to go out the sketchbook. I don't have to look at specific sites, which means I can start working with paint as if paint is nature too. I mean, a lot of my paint is natural paint anyway. It's pigments and oils and terps from pine trees. So all those materials are actually nature. And then I'm actually evoking nature with these natural materials on natural canvases. And it's only at the sharp, pointy end of a painting where you're doing little tiny details that you become much more super conscious about the aesthetics. Up until that moment, it's like